Nobody wants to be found to be in a position where you are breaking a law, especially as a Christian. But what the council were trying to do was to paint us with the people who just come to litter the whole of the town center with one brush. And we're saying, no, I think you need to separate it. When I heard that, it concerned me because that is how going out there and being able to reach out to people will have been cut short by this PSPO.
Yes, our church is a missional church. We go to the town center to go and witness. We stop people, speak to them, and I've seen a lot of people stand there and give their life to Christ on the spot.
The idea of finding out if I take a few tracts from my house and just talk to people is going to become a criminality as set out under the PSPO. That alone made people step back from not wanting to do outreach. And for me as a pastor, that is concerning. And that should be concerning to anybody. So here we are. Here's a map of London Borough. This is Uxbridge, where we are just down the road. The Hillingdon Food Bank, we are here centered. Northwood, we have one of the distribution centers in Northwood here as well. So we're all littered all across the borough and serving the people of Hillingdon altogether. Our church is a very community church, a missional church, and we actually enjoy working with our local council over the years. I remember the church started off the Coat of Many Colors nursery at some point in time in 2005, and we registered it in 2007.
We've been able to support thousands of parents coming out through our nurseries because we started with the Uxbridge one. Now we have 2 other branches. And I think since then it's been wonderful because we started to support parents even before the government started to do back to work. We started that since 2005.
In 2009, the church started off and spearheaded the first food bank in London, which we call the Hillingdon Food Bank. Since then, we were instrumental to the starting of about 15 other ones. Now we have in tens of, if not hundreds, I think about 80 in London by itself, if not more than that. Yeah, we have an award here from the Mayor of Hillingdon, and we also have here a letter of commendation that was also given by the mayor to the church itself. So we're very grateful and happy for the wonderful relationship that we have with the London Borough of Hillingdon, working together to give joy and life to the people of Hillingdon.
We also have another outreach, just going out there to speak to anyone that will care to listen. And we've broken ourselves into 4 groups, and each group will go out every Saturday to go and witness. We always go with tracts. We go to the town center, we stop people, speak to them. And I've seen a lot of people stand there and give their life to Christ on the spot. When we started, people were a bit somehow, but now a lot of them knows us. They look forward to seeing us on Saturdays, and it's been wonderful.
As a church, we've seen the life of people literally transform from falling away and falling apart. The same outreach team have spoken with someone who sat there and thought they were going to commit suicide. One of our ministers said to us, she saw this lady one day, and the lady was saying she was going to commit suicide. And she sat there and they were crying together, trying to stop her. And then she prayed with her and encouraged her, and she changed her mind. That is a real life experience of how going out there and being able to reach out to people will have been cut short by this PSPO. They were trying to regulate how people drop things everywhere. People litter the ground, And the corporates are people who just come to the town center and drop leaflets and drop, materials, reading materials and papers and whatever it is, and make, of course, cleaning costs to rise up. That is concerning. However, I know that if I use us as an example, as a church, we have very lovely, well-printed magazine that we print, and then we take it out. We also have tracts, and we ask people, would you like to read more about what we've talked about? And if they ask for it, we give it to them, and they take it, put it in their pockets or in their bags, and they go away. So people don't necessarily drop it on the street. But what the council were trying to do was to paint us with the people who just come to litter the whole of the town center with one brush. And we're saying, no, I think you need to separate it, because we're totally different. The purpose for which other people come is quite different from the way we come. There was that aspect of the PSPO whereby it was said that we will then need to apply for a license if we're going to have amplification to be able to do an outreach in an area. I mean, we've done that in the past when we are going to do something big. However, when it becomes a case that we are going to need to then collect a licensing for going to the town center and just having a CD player to play some songs to say, I'm giving this out, and then worship and things like that, I think that would be a case of infringing on the rights of people to say they're not able to do what. I mean, we see people who do things that are even obscene in the town centers without any licensing, and nobody says anything to them. Nobody tells them to stop it or not do such a thing. So I think it was a case of going too far to say that we need to put a stop at this so that we don't end up, being eroded and being pushed out of the scene.
You're on the rest. You need to come down. Are you going to step down? I'm not working. Step down, sir.
Nobody wants to be found to be in a position where you are breaking a law, especially as a Christian. Nobody wants to be seen as though you're working against the constituted authorities that governs our community. So when people pick the fact that it is now going to be unlawful for me to hand over tracts, and here's my pastor saying to me to go and hand over tracts, what is the balance? What am I going to do now? But we need to reassure people, because that alone straight away made people step back from not wanting to do evangelism, not wanting to do outreach. And for me as a pastor, that is concerning.
Well, no doubt it came as a lot of worry to me and concern. And of course with a bit of panic also, and fear. Because for me it was more of doing the right thing, in my opinion, and then there's a constitution or a law to stop it. It brought a lot of burden. It made me very sad.
The idea of finding out that if I take a few tracts from my house as a Christian and go out there on the street and just talk to people is going to become a criminality as set out under the PSPO. I think that is the problem that we were contesting.
It wasn't necessary, because we were not in any way a threat, we were not in any way affecting anyone negatively. All our intentions and motive was good. So it should not have been a consideration at all. It should not have been a debate at all. As a matter of fact, it should have been encouraged. We should have been inspired to do more, not against us, So whatever brought about that idea or that thought is quite a concern.
I mean, survey was not done, for example, to find out if the PSP was going to help out in any way, or how we can see whether we justify what the council was going to be doing, and all that was not considered, and we thought, and that should have been done so that it can be part of what they will use to justify the need for such PSPO. It was one of the very difficult decisions that we had to take, but we are thankful that there was a clear understanding, a clear reasoning to say that this is a justifiable process that we are trying to defend, that we're trying to hold on to, and eventually we are grateful that the council did a U-turn on their position on this to say that we will look at this in a different way and will allow for an exclusion on that PSPO, that the churches, faith organizations and charities will be excluded from this PSPO. That was all that we are clamoring for. We certainly support the fact that the council is trying to govern, is trying to run the society, is trying to run the communities, and there is, of course, lack of funds. So it is for us to know that there are people who can responsibly do what they are aimed to do. And that is what we are asking for, and we are thankful that eventually we got what we wanted. I can thank God today that looking back, will I take this journey again? If I were to be at that beginning, I would say yes, 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 because we are very happy with the outcome that we are able to make the council have a U-turn on this matter, and we can continue to do the good work that we do for the people of Hillingdon.